The Godslayer Greatsword is a beast of a weapon. This is one of the most common weapons I saw in PvE co-op sessions, and for good reason. It has a modified Colossal Sword moveset, and one of the best Ashes of War in the game, utilizing the ever-effective and elusive Black Flame. A full run with this base game behemoth was long overdue on this channel. The Godslayer Greatsword is a reward at the end of a dungeon. Head to the Kaled Divine Tower. At the Site of Grace, head left towards the basement, instead of right towards the elevator door. The way down only has a handful of enemies, but there is a bit of tricky platforming on the way down. You'll find the Godskin Apostle fight in the lowest room, and the weapon in a chest behind the boss room. The moveset is a more dexterous version of the usual Colossal Sword moveset. Instead of the normal horizontal sweep, we have diagonal slashes as our R1 attacks. These R1 attacks are shared with the Fire Knight Greatsword. We covered this weapon in a video a few weeks ago. This long-reaching moveset was just what I needed in a playthrough, since the last two weapons I used in this game were the club and the broadsword. Not missing attacks on enemies that are a couple feet out of the reach of smaller arms is crucial if you want to keep poise in check and to get poise breaks in some of the faster-paced fights of this game. The Queen's Black Flame is one of the highest damaging Ashes of War. The Ash is 2 to 3 parts. Press the Ash of War button and your character swings the weapon in front of them for a small amount of damage. Then your character swings the sword back down, with Black Flame churning out of the spiraling double helix of the weapon. This attack is where most of the damage comes from. You can make an additional input here to bring the weapon back up, still spewing out Black Flame for another huge chunk of damage. Black Flame maintains its effectiveness even on higher New Game Plus cycles, due to the fact it deals percentage health damage. The game balances out this damage by making the move slow. You can counteract this by only using the Ash of War at a few big openings, or wearing heavy armor and tanking any hits you receive. The spells I used were the usual Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. Flame Grant Me Strength is better here than on most builds, since it enhances fire and physical damage by 15%, both of which we deal on this build. I had the Black Flame incantation and the Godslayer seal on this build, but I ended up not using the incantation at all because of how powerful the Ash of War was. Having the Godslayer seal was fitting nonetheless. Your overall playstyle will vary depending on the boss you're facing. Slower, bulkier bosses like Fire Giant and Elden Beast will see you use the Queen's Black Flame a lot. These bosses have huge health pools, and the percentage health damage will make your life so much easier. Faster bosses like Mesmer will give you fewer opportunities to cast the whole Ash of War, so you'll focus on the R1s and R2s of the weapon during that fight. Before we talk about talismans and stats, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the build videos. You'll see a new one every single week at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. For talismans, I had on the Dragon Crest Great Shield to tank any hits during the Ash of War animation, the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman, since the Colossal Sword swings eat up so much stamina, the Two-Handed Sword Talisman for more damage with our moveset, and the Shard of Alexander to power up our Ash of War even further. The tiers I used changed depending on the fight, but the four main ones I used were the Bloodsuck and Cracked tier for 20% more damage at the cost of health drain, the Opaline Hard tier for 15% damage negation, the Green Burst Crystal tier for even better stamina recovery, and the Flame Shroud and Cracked tier for a 20% boost to our fire damage. The stats I had at RL 170 were 60 Vigor, 25 Mind, 35 Endurance, 20 Strength, 66 Dexterity, since this is what our weapon scales off of best, and 27 Faith. The Godslayer Greatsword is a unique colossal sword with a slow, hard-hitting Ash of War. The greatness of this weapon really makes me wish the DLC included more Black Flame weapons and incantations. If you are looking for a DLC Colossal that also deals fire damage with a similar moveset, be sure to check out my playthrough with the Fire Knight Greatsword, linked in an end card here.